What is up, YouTube? We are back at it today with the Ford Raptor. Today we are changing out the spark plugs before we get the new tune in. These ones are a little different than the factory. These ones are considered a cold set spark plug. I got them from Stage 3 Motorsports. I don't know how clear that is, but anyways, they are supposed to be cold spark plugs. They just, improves burn at high boost pressures, has iridium tips with colder heat range, has a smaller gap over stock, and they're drop-in replacements compatible with the stock coil pack. So basically what that means is they have a smaller gap, and they're gonna create a cooler temperature in the combustion process, keep the cylinder head temperature a little cooler from what I understand, and that really is helpful with a truck that's running a hot tune in sense. And by hot tune I mean a tune that you're getting the most power out of your engine. So this truck's got 77,000 miles on it. She's getting up there, and I don't think the plugs have ever been changed. I haven't changed them in the last 20,000 miles I've owned it. So to start off, I'm going to pull off the bolt in here and in there, which I've already done off camera. They just look like that. They're just little 10mm nuts, and then we'll just kind of pull up, and that will remove our cover. And there's our foam composite cover off. I better pull that nut out of there, don't want to lose it. Put them both right there. Okay, now we have the top of our engine. I'm gonna grab a light so we can see this better. Hang tight. Okay, and that is a night and day difference. No pun intended. Just kidding, it was. Anyways, this is what we are working with. Oh boy. Have a little oil residue right there. Now this just came out of the shop to have cam phasers done too. I wonder if, I don't think that's supposed to have oil there. May need to take it back to them, but for now, here's where our spark plugs sit. Here's the solenoids on top. So we got to remove this nut, pull it out, and then stick a socket in there and remove the spark plug. So I'll show that process right now. Okay. I always try to grab the bolt when I lift it up so it doesn't fall, but sometimes it'll stay in the socket if you get lucky. But there's the inside of our boot, and now we'll grab a socket to pull out the spark plug. All right, so we have our socket, which in this case I'm using a 5/8 because I don't have a proper spark plug socket for this. So you're just gonna put a little pressure on it, turn it, and there you go. Hopefully it pulls up. That's the whole point of a spark plug socket, is it will kind of grab the spark plug for you and pull it up. Yeah, it did not pull up. and out. Alright, to have a little trick for this. Be right back. Okay, so I put a little liner in the socket. I think, yep, that'll do it for us. Alright, now here is our old spark plug to our new one. This one has definitely seen better days. Alright, so next thing is we'll put some anti-seize substance on here to prevent it from seizing in the cylinder head. Worst case scenario, when doing this job, these get stuck in there and they break, and then you have to drill them out. So not a fun process. Put your anti-seize on here, and we'll put a little bit of dielectric grease up here so the boot slides on and makes good contact. Okay, so we got our anti-seize thread lubricant that we're going to apply to the threads of each, and then our connector grease, which prevents corrosion and makes for good contact and stuff. So that will be applied on this end. And these are just like little packs that typically come with a set of plugs if you get a good deal somewhere. And then if not, you can just get them at your local hardware store or auto store too, like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, etc. So I'm just going to apply a little bit to the edge here. Just like that. And then install. Alright, and we will go ahead and install. Gonna go ahead and just get this hand tight. Make sure the threads are lining up and it's going in smoothly. You definitely want to be careful while installing them, because you don't want to cross thread them. And once it's hand tight, we'll take the ratchet and turn it about a quarter a turn. Give it the old German torque spec, good and tight. Alright, definitely don't want to over tight it and break them. And then we'll repeat for the next one. Okay, so I didn't show it, but I put a little on the end of that spark plug before installing it. But I'm just going to put a little in the boot here, just so we have a little bit of anti-seize in there when it goes on. Okay. Press that down, line up the hole, and we should be able to put our bolt back in. Alright, just gonna start this. Okay. And then tighten this down by hand. Make sure we got this tight enough, kind of comparing to the other one, how tight that one is. I don't want to over tighten it and break the plastic connection, but I don't want it to be loose either. Okay, I think that's good. Now we'll go ahead and pull the second one off. Alright. Bolt out. Our boot out. Alright. Need to get that down in there. These are coming out with ease. It's a good sign. I'll disconnect that to make a little room here. Just gonna pull this out. And there we go. Here's number 2. And we'll go ahead and prep our second one. So we'll get our anti-seize on. May have overdone that one a little bit. I'm going to rob a little off of it for this one. Okay. We'll apply a little grease to this side. Okay. Are you guys able to? Yeah, I think so. Okay. I'm gonna re-listen to. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get this started by hand again. Okay, now that that's tight by hand, put a ratchet on it. Okay, that feels good and tight. Alright, I'm going to apply a little bit of grease to this boot. Squeeze a little in there and kind of rotate it on my way down. Install my bolt again. It's nice and tight. And now we will do the one on the far back. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's where the back one is. It's the last one we're pulling out. Yeah. I can set this like right here. Okay. I'll go ahead and pull this one out. Hopefully, if this fits, we need to take this out piece by piece. So sometimes you do have to get a little creative due to back spacing. So now I got a shorter extension. And we'll be pulling this back spark plug out. I use a taller one because it's easier to clear all over the fuel rails and harness running up here. Alright, we broke it loose. Just gonna... Oh, lost you guys. There we go. Just gonna spin it off now. And just like that, we got our back one out. So we are halfway done at this point. And this one already has some anti-seize from the overflow of the last one, so we'll just put a little dielectric grease here, whatever this stuff is. Make for a non-corrosive attachment. And get this back one installed. Again, I'm just gonna start it by hand. Okay. Get that nice and tight. Okay. Throw a little grease on the end of this boot. Okay, and reinstall. And reinstall our bolt. Of course, it's got to be right in the way of that wire. And since this tab is broke here, I take it the spark plugs have probably already been done. That was probably in somebody's way and they just decided to break it instead of pull it off, or they tried to pull it off and it broke. But we do have these ones running at a colder temperature, so they will be different from the stock ones. Go ahead and tighten up this last bolt here, and that's why I took that apart the first time. Go ahead and get that tight. It's getting tight. Alright guys, we are halfway done. Now we will move over to the driver's side and repeat the process over there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the driver's side. So this right away is already in our way. We can sneak underneath there. Actually, I have an idea. Just run extension. There we go. I don't know why I'm using this. Should have just made this easier and did the electric Milwaukee. Okay, so that bolts out. Okay, good news. I think it hit the skid plate. so it fell all the way through. Oh no, I lost you guys. All right, we're back. Well, that one's kind of funny. Kind of have to slide it back up and through carefully. We'll get our socket in, and I'm gonna need the long extension for this one. There we go. Since that's in our way, I'll just give this a nice turn. Should back out easily. Gosh dang it. Keep throwing you guys off. Alright, I'm going to try repositioning there. There we go. Okay. I think we got it now. There it is. So while the camera was off, I did go ahead and prepare all of the remainders, so I won't waste your guys' time putting anti-seize and anti-seize. I don't know why that's so weird for me to say. I think I'm trying to make it one word. It's actually two. But anyways, and the grease. So been pre-greased and they're going back in. Get it tightened by hand. Okay, that one's good and tight. I'm just gonna peek in there. Oh jeez. Alright, so I had to put a piece of tape inside my socket so it would grab that spark plug to lift it up. I just wanted to make sure it didn't stay in there. But it is clean and ready to have the boot installed. back in. We'll get our bolt, which we dropped, back in. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna mark that one in the book because I just kneeled down and it was right there on the bumper. So you don't usually get lucky like that. It's usually hiding right behind the diff in a place you can't reach. Gotta pull the plates off. Ask me how I know. But the good thing is as much as I'm knocking this camera over, I wonder if I should just replace you guys right here. I'm just retightening that bolt. All right, now we'll go ahead and pop off the next one in line. This time I will be using the electric. It's a game of extensions, having the right space. I think this might be. Alright, pull this bolt out and not drop it this time. Pull this boot up. Back to the extension. Swap. Of course, that's going to sit right in the way. So yeah, kind of have to hold up that hose right above it. Alright, it's getting pretty loose now. Alright, number 5 is out. Out with the old and in with the new. Okay. nice and tight, good and tight. Alright. Alright, we'll install our bolt back in. Get it nice and tight. Alright. Feels good. Feels good and tight. Pull this one off next. Alright, that's off. And we'll pull our final socket out. Spark plug, I mean. Alright, and our final one is out. See there? There she is. Get our new one in and started. Alright, that's nice and tight, good and tight, good and tight. We'll go ahead and install our boot. All right, so we got them all in. All our old ones are out. New ones are in. I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Make sure there's no misfires or knocking. Make sure you don't get any check engine lights. And I haven't tried to remote start it since the last time it failed, so let's see if they'll do it this time. Maybe it won't remote start because the hood's open. I don't know. Anyways, don't have time for that. I'm just gonna go ahead and start it in here. Anything too suspicious, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure there's no check engine lights for misfires. No check engine lights on our dash. Check my edge here. Nope, these two faults are for the fan shrouds that I removed. The guys from Duramax Tuner could not tune out those faults, so it will still have those soft faults active, but it won't kick a check engine light. Just for the shutters we removed those. So I do actually have a new tuner, so I will make another video for that. He's going to take care of those soft check engines or whatever, soft codes. They don't throw a check engine light to sell. So that's coming tomorrow. I will make a video on that. I'm really excited for this guy and his tuning. He seems legit. So for now, we did get our spark plugs changed out to colder spark plugs to accommodate for the new performance tunes coming in and help complement our new cool intercooler to help keep the air going into the motor cooler. Out with the old, which they were pretty much due anyways at 75,000 miles, 77 to be exact. Yeah. Now we will just reinstall our cover. Back on. Those lined up. That's lined up. All right, throw on my 2 bolts and call this job done. So I won't bore you guys with that. So that's gonna do it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Thanks for watching.